Perfect. So today we are going to see what is Clockwork and how Clockwork can actually help you. Okay, and Clockwork is being named as third generation static code analysis tool. So today we'll be seeing about what is first generation of static analysis tool and what does the second generation of static analysis will do, and what do we mean by third generation static analysis. So we'll be seeing some of that as well. Plus, what are the secure coding standards that are supported by Clockwork? Basically, Clockwork is a certified product. It has been certified by ISO and IEC. So that means almost all of our checkers also has been certified. So we are going to see what are the secure coding standards that are supported by Clockwork. The third one, what are the safety standards are supported by Klocwork? So if you are into automotive, you may need to follow Misra. If you are into medical devices, you will follow some standard. In the same way, if you are into finance domain, you may follow PCI DSS kind of standards, right? So today we will be seeing about what are the standards that are supported by Klocwork for safety related compliance. Okay. Then functional safety standards supported by Clockwork, because Clockwork has been certified to be used in mission critical projects now. I will show you what are the safety standards that are supported by Clockwork, right? And finally, what's new in Clockwork 2020.4? So Clockwork has released its latest version with advanced new features, and Clockwork has added nearly 20 plus new checkers that are supported by Java and C Sharp. Plus, now Clockwork reports can be exported in PDF through our Clockwork portal itself. Let it be a safety related report, or let it be Misra complaint report, or let it be Clockwork checker related report. Now they can be downloaded from our Clockwork local web portal itself. So basically, Clockwork is an on-premise tool. You do not require your source code, or you do not require your internet. You are not going to upload your source code at all to our secure cloud or nowhere. Clockwork is an 100% on-prem tool. So with that on-prem solution, how you can generate Misra compatible report, how you can generate safety compliance report, how you can export a secure security report. So we'll be able to see that as well in this demo. So I'm open for questions and answer session. Maybe after this demo, I will give you guys a brief information about what we are going to see in our live demo, and we can definitely have a Q&A session as well. Meanwhile, if you have any queries, please feel free to post them in the chat so that someone from my team or personally I will address it after this session. Yeah, so please feel free to post your queries in the chat, guys. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So directly we are jumping into Clockwork now. So Clockwork stands for kilo lines of code work. That means if you give 1 million lines of code, if you give thousands of million lines of code to Clockwork, it will never crash and it will never cancel. Clockwork engine is very stable, and whenever it hits into any infinite loop, or whenever it reaches multi-threaded based application, right, Clockwork has an inbuilt mechanism to come out of that automatically. So if you have 100 million lines of code, 200 million lines of code, there's no problem. Clockwork can definitely work on that. No. And as I mentioned, Clockwork is an advanced static code analysis tool that can detect real critical vulnerabilities that can crash your application on field. Clockwork has nearly 900 plus checkers dedicated to catch the vulnerabilities that are present in your C++ code, and we do have 500 plus for Java and C Sharp. Apart from that, Clockwork supports checking a lot of industry standards like Misra, AutoSir, CWE, CERT, OWASP, PCI DSS kind of standards as well. Again, the third and most interesting thing, if your internal coding guideline needs to be adopted, Clockwork even can help you with that. So for an example, if your internal coding guideline says your global variable should start with Z, or maybe your class name second letter should be a capital letter or something, Clockwork can definitely help you in that area as well. So you just need to write a checker, deploy it with Clockwork, so that at the time of development itself, Clockwork will tell you, see, was you are trying to violate your internal policy, you better change it here. Clockwork has direct plugins available for Visual Studio, Eclipse, IntelliJ IDEA, WindRiver, Code Composer Studio, and almost all Eclipse-based IDEs. Apart from that, we do have our own UI. The way how it works is, In your MS Word, the moment you do some spelling mistakes, your MS Word will underline that with a red color mark. If it's a grammatical mistakes, it will underline with blue color mark, like that, right? In the same way, Clockwork works on your code. It will tell you, see what you have declared one variable in your fifth line like this, and you are trying to use the same variable in your 10th line like this. This may lead to this kind of a problem. Clockwork will tell you at the time of development itself. Okay. I will show you the feature in my live demo using Visual Studio IDE. And if you guys have any more queries, or if you guys have any more IDE, right, you please comment it. I'll be happy to showcase that feature as well. Then Clockwork Clockwork has direct plugins available for Jenkins and TeamCity. Apart from that, if you have any CI, any CD tool in your pipeline, if they support command line argument as an input to trigger the job, right, Clockwork can be integrated without any problem. Klocwork has rich command line options available that can be adapted within any CI/CD tool and within any pipeline as well. There's no problem. So if you are using Docker, if you are into Kubernetes, if you are into Jenkins, Hudson, TeamCity, Quick Build, whatever it is, Clockwork can be integrated without any problem. Right? And then, so these are some category of defects what Clockwork can detect. So Clockwork can detect buffer overflows, unrelated user input, SQL injection, path injection, file injection kind of security vulnerabilities, and the reliability vulnerabilities like memory leak. It's okay. I should tell you this pointer. In general, memory leaks can be detected by a dynamic code analysis tool, right? But being a static code analysis tool, Clockwork also can detect some kind of memory leaks, some kind of concurrency violation, deadlocks, divided by zero occurrences, all those things. Because Clockwork creates abstract syntax tree in backend, and it will try to cover 100% code and 100% path by performing inter-procedural analysis. That means we know what your code is going to do. What your code is doing, that's one thing. What your code is going to do, that's the second thing. So Clockwork can detect some kind of dynamic issues as well at the time of static testing. Okay. The third one, Clockwork supports a lot of industry standards as I mentioned, like AutoSer, Misra, CWE, plus you can write a number of coding guidelines. Okay. Also, Clockwork has a single tool which can be used to detect almost all the vulnerabilities what you have based on Clockwork standards. That's one thing. Second, Clockwork can be used to verify internal coding guidelines. That's second. And the third one, Clockwork can be used to verify industry coding guidelines as well. Right. And Clockwork gives you a dashboard specific report also. So we can work on your developer desktop. That's first thing. And second, we do have a UI. And this UI has been hosted, or this UI can be hosted in your local network. We use Tomcat to do that, and it's part of our installation itself. So you don't have to worry about any licensing, any extra installation. You just install Clockwork, that's it. So anybody within your network who has an access right can review the results without any problem. And the results can be filtered based on module, based on views, owner, severity, status, and interestingly, you can suppress the unwanted issues also. You can baseline your third-party code as well, or if you want to ignore the issues that are present in your library files, you can ignore them as well temporarily. Whenever you want to pull those issues, you can definitely pull. But so these kind of suppressing mechanisms are there in Clockwork for sure. Okay, so this is the reason we say Clockwork is a third generation static code analysis tool. So in first generation static analysis tool, what we do is we'll edit your code, save it, compile it, test it, maybe check in after build, maybe before your release, you are going to perform the analysis for bugs. What happened here is you will save your code on 20th of Jan, let's say, or you will check in your code on 20th of Jan. When it is going to trigger the build, when it is going to perform the analysis, no one knows. If you have a tight pipeline, that whenever you commit a code, your analysis will be triggered, something like that, right? Still, you are going to get your defect report in the next day morning. We may not know what we have done yesterday, right? Still, this approach is okay if you want to automate. But if you want to find and fix the problem at the time of development itself, then you need to go to the third generation tool like Klocwork. And in second generation static analysis tool, what happens is the SEA tools will be integrated as part of your SEMs. If you have Git or if you have SVN, so Klocwork kind of a tools or any static analysis tools will be integrated as part of your repository check-in itself. So whenever you commit a source code into your Git, right, the analysis will be triggered automatically, and your Git itself will tell you, see boss, you are trying to commit your source code, that's okay, thank you so much. But the source code you are trying to commit has 4 Klocwork violation. So do you still want to commit it or you want to fix it before you commit? So those kind of rules can be set by your manager or the admin who is maintaining Klocwork. Even the admin can make the build failed if there are Klocwork defects. Okay. And then the third generation static analysis tool fits in your development tech stack. So for the first time it will be after compilation, but from second time onwards it will be before compile. Once Klocwork knows what's your build setup, right? Your compiler, your linker, your build tools, your source code architecture, then you need not even compile your source code. Just edit it, save it, analyze and fix it then and there. Then if you think there is no problem, again you commit it, there's no problem. Interestingly, Klocwork can be used as all 3 generation static analysis tool. If you want to use Klocwork at developer desktop, no problem, please go ahead and use it. If you want to use Klocwork as part of your repository check-in, yeah, please go ahead and use it. And if you want to use Klocwork for your post analysis, post check-in, even you can use that. So Klocwork as a single tool which can give you 3 quality gates. And Klocwork will make sure none of the issues are going out of your radar for sure. That's one. And these are the security standards that are supported by Klocwork. Actually, we support CERT, CW, OWASP, DSAST, PCDS. Okay, but nowadays a lot of companies started adopting PCDS standard. If you are into financial, I believe PCDS standard is mandated by our Indian government. I believe. Okay. And we do have a unique taxonomy to verify IEC/TS 17961 secure standard. All these are taxonomies. Interestingly, you need to pay anything extra to get these taxonomies. It's part of our package itself. So whatever the feature I'm showing you now, all are coming as a single bundle to you. You need not to pay anything extra. So that we say there is no hidden charges in Klocwork. We don't ask you like if you want to use Misra 2004, you pay this much. If you want to use Misra 2008, you pay this much. There's nothing like that. You buy Klocwork once, and you can run a number of lines of code. There's no problem. You can create a number of projects. There's no problem. And these are the safety critical standards that are supported by Klocwork. So we support Misra, almost all the versions of Misra, 2004, 2008, and 2012. And in 2012, we support Amendment 1, Amendment 2, C90, C19, and almost all. And if you are into Giant Stacker, if you are into some web and development field, then we do support JSF standard also for you. Okay. Here is our certification. So if you have Google access with you, you can just open Google and say ISO certificate of Klocwork or IEC certificate of Klocwork. You will get a certificate openly available online. So Klocwork is a certified product. So if you plan to use Klocwork, you can probably say that you are using a certified product. So Klocwork has been certified under all these categories. If you want, I can send you the certificate as well. And if you want a trial license, I can arrange that as well for you. Great. So if you want to take up a free trial of Klocwork, you can register in Klocwork web portal, or you can register in Meteonic web portal, or just send a mail to support@meteonic.com. You will get a response in 15 minutes of time max. Our turnaround time is less than 15 minutes actually. If you want to obtain a free trial license, you can send a mail to support@meteonic.com. Perfect. So before we jump into our live demo, if you have any queries, please feel free to post it in chat, or you can unmute your mic as well. Guys, if you have any queries, please feel free to put it in chat, or else please unmute your mic and you are open to talk. Oh, perfect. So we can directly jump into a live demo. And if you have any doubts, you can stop me in there, or you can put your query in the chat box. I'll be happy to answer it after the session. Perfect. So Clockwork has two components actually. The first one is Clockwork for developers. So we support developers. We help developers to produce bug-free code by helping them with a plugin or by helping them with our own UI. That's for developers. Okay. So for managers and for QA and for testing teams review, right? We do have a portal. I believe you may be known about Jira or Buxilla, Codesonar, like those kind of dashboarding tools, right? Clockwork do have its own dashboard, and that local dashboard can be hosted within your local network. You are not going to upload your source code anywhere at all. So I'm just lying in here. So my Clockwork servers are running in my local host. I can, as it is running in local host, I'm just mentioning local host. Else I can use my IP address. If I want to open the same portal from anywhere in my network, right? I just need to mention my IP address. That's it. So I can enter my credentials and just say login. So this is how Clockwork portal looks. Okay. So I have so many projects here, you can see. Okay. I can create a number of projects. There's no limitation. I can run a number of lines of code. There's no limitation in Clockwork. And there's no limitation on file size as well. I can run 20 GB code, 30 GB code also. There's no problem. And as our engine is very powerful, Clockwork will never crash and Clockwork will never. So here for an example, let me take this project. I have something called CVS. Yeah, correct. I can even filter it here. Yeah. I have a project called CVS here. So here I'm just seeing like in my 11th build, it's a build number. In my 11th build, I have got 7 new defect and 7 to 7 open issues that are there in my build, and 29 issues I have fixed as of now. Okay. So if you want to review what I have created new, I can just click on new, so that Clockwork will list me what are the new issues that has been created in this 12th build. Yeah, here it is. This is Clockwork results will be shown actually on an overall figure. Here it says array, this referrer of size 10 may use index values 10 to 4095. It's a possible buffer overflow, right? And here it will Clockwork will give you the source file name with an exact location, the line number 5568 is the line number, and on which function this problem may occur. Code is nothing but the Clockwork checker name. Severity, it's a critical checker. So Clockwork has severity levels till 4. First is critical, second error, third warning, fourth review. So when I say severity levels, they are kind of ranks. Okay, severity 1 means it's critical. Yeah. And it's a Clockwork certified checker. Yeah. State, it's a new issue or open issue or it's a fixed issue. So those things. So the state is new, and the current status is analyzed. That means whether this issue is there in analyzed state or ignored state. If you think this is not a problem for you, or if you think this issue is coming from your legacy or library code where you do not have control to fix it and you want to ignore it, right? You can change the status to ignore. And which taxonomy has found this problem? AutoSer checker has found this problem. Okay, and the current owner has been set to Smith. Clockwork can be integrated with your LDAP as well, or whatever the access control you have, source code access control you have, right? Clockwork can be integrated so that the owners will be assigned. You can do it manually as well, actually. Okay. So if you want to get more information about this problem, Clockwork is giving you an overview here, but if you want to get more information, right, you just click on here. Clockwork will actually show you the source code and it will tell you from where the problem is coming. Clockwork says array referrer of size 10 may use index values 10 to this thing at line number this. That's okay. And what are the information we have seen before in our portal, right? Has been listed here. And here is the root cause of the problem. This is the beauty of Clockwork. This is the beauty. So here there is a problem in my server.c file, but the root cause is coming from buffer.c. We call this issue as data flow issue. Because of your a.c file, your b.c file may have some problem. Because of your b.c file, your c.c file will have some critical defect. So this kind of data flow vulnerabilities can be captured by Clockwork. Okay. So Clockwork can detect semantic issues, system issues, plus data flow issues as well. Detecting data flow issue is our power. What most of the static code analysis tools cannot do. As we create ASDs in backend, we try to cover 100% path and 100% code. It's like if true occurs, what will happen? True false true occurs, what will happen? False to false occurs, will it crash or not? So we will try to cover 100% code and 100% path actually. That's the reason Clockwork can detect data flow defects. The dependent problems, you can say. Okay. And if you want to understand more within your code, you need not to go back to your UI, go back to your IDE or your editor. You just rightly here itself, and here itself you can see where it has been declared. And if you touch this file, what other files will get affected? So a basic impact analysis also can be done in Clockwork. Okay, so if you want to see a declaration, just click on declaration. Yeah, here it is. And if you want to show the usage or implementation, here it is. It has been declared here. Yeah. And if you want to, if you are trying to touch this header file has been included in this header file. If you want to see this header file, just click it. Here are the details. These are the macros has been used in this header file. And these are the variables that are used. If you want to see what is this variable, you can just click here and then you can go ahead. So Clockwork will try to give you as much as information possible about your code, even the function declarations as well, so that you will actually understand your code flow as well. Clockwork will give you the default information. Clockwork will give you the clear root cause analysis. Clockwork will make you understand your code flow, and Clockwork can help you to perform basic impact analysis as well. That's the reason we say Clockwork is an advanced static code analysis tool. We don't just give you a bug report and say you do whatever you want to do. It's not like that. We will try to help you understand, make you understand the problem as well. On developer machine, we actually help you to fix the problem as well. Actually, okay. And I should give you one more. I should show you one more information. The way how our help document works. So here Clockwork is telling there is a buffer overflow. That's okay. But if you want to get more information about what is buffer overflow and how you can actually fix it, right, you just refer our documentation. So when you just click on that question mark, the help icon, Clockwork documentation will open in a new tab, and here we tell you what is the problem. What do we mean by buffer overflow? That has been listed here. If you don't fix it, what will happen? And a vulnerable code example, explanation. Fixed code example, explanation. So with the help of our documentation, you can understand the problem in deep as well. And a lot of colleges started reading Clockwork documentation, and we provide educational license as well to colleges, where college students started reading Clockwork documentation for a good code practice. Okay. Nowadays, anybody can write a code without errors and warnings. But to become a good coder, you may need to follow the standards. You may need to write a code that runs on field, not only compiles. Right? So Clockwork will definitely help you in that. And then the next interesting thing would be the will start with builds. Klockwrk will give you build chain report. That means Klockwrk will show you, suppose in your first build, you have got 100 defects. That's okay. In your second build, you have created 20 new defects, but you have fixed 50 defects. Klockwrk will clearly show you, these are the 50 you have fixed, these are the 20 you have newly created. So altogether 50 plus 20, 70 issues are open now. So that you will know the health of your project as well. So see here, in my 10th build, I have created 776 new and this many open, this many fixed. In my 11th build, this many new, this many open and this many fixed. Okay. As I mentioned, if you want to see what are the new defects, you just click here, it will go. In the same way, if you want to see what are the issues you have fixed, just click here, it will go. It's like that. Okay. And you can set up auto delete build as well. If you want to keep only 20, you can set the threshold as 20, so that when the 21st build gets loaded, your first build will get deleted. If you want to maintain a milestone build, you can set in our settings like don't delete this build, so that this build will not be deleted at all. So all these settings are there in Klockwrk. Sure. Klockwrk UI is very rich and Klockwrk UI is very mature. Whatever you are looking for will be there in our UI for sure. Okay. The second tab here is configuration. So these are the industry standards that are supported by Klockwrk, as I mentioned: AutoSAR, C++, CERT, Java, quality standards, security standard, TCDs, and everything. And this can be customized like anything. You can enable or disable the checkers as per your requirement. We will not tell you you should enable this and all. It's up to your decision. By default, we enable 60% of the checkers, but it's up to you to decide what needs to be enabled and what needs to be disabled. Because some customers say we don't care about memory leaks. Memory leaks will be handled by my target. I don't care. Okay, then you don't enable memory leaks when you analyze your code on your post. You just disable the checker and run the analysis. There's no problem. So you can enable or disable the checkers just by a single click. If you want to disable this checker, right? Just disable and you just say save. That's it. Rerun the analysis to get a fresh report. If you want to know what does this checker do, here Klockwrk says buffer overflow from an unvalidated input. If you want to know what does it mean, right? You just click on this checker name. Our documentation will open in the right hand side. Here you can read what does it mean, and do you really need to enable it or do you really need to disable it? Right? So this kind of checker configuration is pretty simple and straightforward in Klockwrk. Whatever the standard you take, you need to import it, enable or disable it. That's it. And the third tab what we have is module. Modules means module specific reports actually. It's like, for an example, let's say you have 5 different modules that are present in your project. First module is coming from third party. Second module is coming from your legacy. Third module is coming from your maybe your some different team. And fourth module is coming from myself, Shiva, let's say. And the fifth module is coming from my libraries. So in this case, I will be interested to see the defects that are present in my source code alone, right? A library code defect may affect my code. That's a data flow defects. Anyway, Klockwrk is going to give me. There's no problem. But I will be more interested to see the defects that are present in my source code, right? So in this case, I can create module specific report here. Just click on create new module, and here I will just say Shiva webinar module, something like that. It can be any name, okay? And you just say use tree. If I know the exact path, I can mention the pattern of the path as well. Else I can say use tree. Here our entire folder structure will be opened, and I can select the files that I want. Nothing else. I will select only my files. Right? Something. I can select any file actually. Okay. And then if you want to select the entire folder, maybe the zlib folder is mine, let's say. I can select the entire folder also, there's no problem. Okay. and you just say create. That's it. A module has been created for me, and when I just click on issues, right now, instead of 700 some change, I'm seeing only 147. But this 147 issues are reported in my files alone, no one else. So I will be putting more focus on this 144 issues, right? And views also the same. You can create team specific view. And X reference means the cross referencing. We have, I hope you remember the information we have seen, right? So here Klocwork will list your entire folder structure, and you will get some more information like what are the functions are there, what are the variables are there, where it has been declared, how it has been declared, what is using what. So those methods also can be done. Even the uses also can be done. So it's not been used somewhere. In general, header files will be used somewhere else. So this buffer.h file has been used in these many places. No. And the next interesting thing would be reports. A dashboard means reports, the colorful charts, colorful graphs, and all. There it is. See, so you will know your actual growth. These are all build names actually. This many fixed, this many existing, and this many new, like that. And a category specific details also has been listed. Category means here Klocwork issue category. Under AutoSer, these are the problem. AutoSer issues, and here it is attempt to use memory after free. There are 3 issues altogether. Under this checker 2, this checker 2, this checker 1. So total 3. The same with buffer overflows. Usage of unbound string input conditions are 22. Input format specific error is 1, and array index out of bound issues are 55. So basically, array overflow issue alone can happen in multiple ways. Nearly 30-40 ways are there. How a buffer overflow can happen. So to catch almost all possible buffer overflows, Klocwork has dedicated checkers. So to detect a buffer overflow issue alone, we have 35 checkers. Near about 35 checkers we have. To catch a memory leak defect, we have almost 13 plus checkers. 13 plus checkers we have near about. Yeah. Okay. And then the next one would be the complexity details here. Complexity detail means here it's an McAfee cyclometry complexity. Okay. So you can set a threshold if your company has a strict guidelines like McAfee cyclometry complexity should not go beyond 20, should not go beyond 25, something like that, right? You can set as a rule. Okay, you can set that as a rule, and then you can take that as well. Okay, so that Klocwork will tell you because in this function, in this file, in this method, the McAfee cyclometric complexity is 490. You will know Klocwork will list the McAfee cyclometric complexity level as well. Okay, and here is the new feature. This feature has been added in Klocwork 2020.4 version only. Before this feature, this exporting feature is not there at all in Klocwork. Okay. If you want to export a report now, just click on this compliance report. Just say taxonomy, under which taxonomy you want the report. Maybe I will just select C and C++. It's Klocwork checker. The file name will be CVS or something, whatever you can mention. Which build report you want? I will just select the latest build 11. Okay. And then the view. Do you want a specific view-based report? If it is default means it will show all the issues. That's okay. And then a report format. You want a generic report format or a Misra compliant report format? I will just select generic as of now. Misra report I will select later. And in which format you want the report? Do you want the report to be generated in doc format or PDF format? You can select any. I will select PDF now. Just click on generate. When a single click, you can generate the report now. And if you just click on here, it will actually download the report. Yep. Here is the report for me. Klocwork complaints report. Project name. A report has been generated by this my username. Tool version has been used. Actually, I have used 19 version to generate the report. and then I have migrated to my 2020.4. So it's telling like the report has been generated with this version, but actually I'm accessing it with 2020.4 version. Build name, rule set applied only C and C++. Analysis date, it's last year's date. All the information about your project will be listed here. Number of files in the project, number of files with violation 57, lines of code LOC this much, number of rules disabled 133 rules I have disabled while initiated the analysis, number of issues 263, total number of deviation. So all the information about my entire project will be listed here. Checker name, description, is it enabled or not, violations, all those things have been shown here. It will be an extensive, elaborate report actually. Okay. And here do we give you report based on files as well actually. It's a rule, it's a file, and on which method there's an issue, which line number there's a problem. We highly recommend you to use our portal because our portal report will be a dynamic kind of report. But just for your documentation, if you want to download the report in a PDF format, you can definitely download it as well from Klocwork actually. But when you export it, it will be kind of a static report. Right? You cannot edit it. You cannot do a team collaboration, something like that. But if you access our portal, you can perform some kind of team collaboration as well. Then the next one would be if you want to generate a Misra specific report, let's say. Okay. So here and the taxonomy, I will select maybe Misra C 2004. I'm not sure I'm enabled. Let me try. Misra compatible report. Just say generate. Okay, I have not enabled Misra at all here actually. Let me try. Mr. 2008 I have enabled. Yeah, Mr. 2008 I have enabled. Okay. Just click on this. Now I should get a Misra compatible report. Misra compliance report. This feature is very new in Klocwork. Compliance report. Just by single click. Now here it is. The rule number, category, compliance level, violation, deviation, everything will be there. It's a very new feature, and a lot of our customers started adopting it already. And there still we recommend you to use our portal because in portal, if you want to suppress the issue, right, that is simple and straightforward. For an example, let me just go and say new defect. If you think this is not a problem for you, this pointer related problem, right, then you can quickly say, instead of analyze, you just say ignore and say maybe this is not an issue for me. This is how my logic works. Something. If you expect a null error, okay. Something like that. Okay. Just say save. That means the issue will be ignored in this build as well as on consecutive builds. So these kind of dynamic things are possible when you have a server portal. And Klocwork maintains the history as well. System has changed the status, it's automatically assigned, and Shiva has changed the status to ignore. So whenever you want to pull the issue back, you can pull it actually. Status, state new, and then maybe status colon ignore. Yeah, here it is. This issue has been pulled. Right? So none of the issues are going out of our radar. If you suppress, the issue will be hidden. Whenever you want to pull that issue back, you can definitely pull it back. Okay. And then you can create specific users and you can perform some specific roles and access as well. It's like if you want to give an access to a specific user to see only one project, right? You can even do that. And if you want your user to restrict changing the status from analyze to ignore, right? Even you can do that. So those kind of basic access controls and access mechanisms are there in Klocwork for sure. So if you think maybe I will create one more user here. I have so many projects here. I'm an admin. Okay. What I want is there's some project called Akash demo project. Okay. But what my need is Akash should see only Akash demo project, nothing else. So in this case, I can just Akash user is already there. Let me create one more user. Yeah, here it is. Akash new, I will say some name. Okay, password, I will say something. Okay, and just say okay. And then in roles, what I should say is if I leave this field empty, right, that means it will set for all the projects. Instead, I will give manager role to Akash new user only for Akash project. It will actually list Akash project or Akash demo, whatever I want to put, I can put Akash demo, and then I will just say add. That's it, and I should delete this. Then so now it's like Akash new as a user who has manager role and who will have access to only Akash demo project. Let me see how that works. I'm just logging out, and then I will just log in as Akash new. Password also I will type login. See, now Akash can see only his project, not others project. Right. So in this way, you can maintain hundreds and thousands of projects in single portal. There is no problem. So this will help you in the time of upgradation as well. You just need to migrate your single database. That will migrate everything. So the maintenance also will be easy. I'll just log out and log in my credentials because I'm admin. I'll just filter with my project name. Right. Apart from this, there are so many automation things also there. Maybe I will be happy to showcase that in our next webinar. Okay. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Thank you so much. And now we are directly going into our question and answer session. So, guys, please feel free to post your queries in chat, or if you want to unmute yourself and ask questions, you can definitely ask me. Perfect. So, I got a question from Aniruddha. That's like, can we export these results to a spreadsheet? I mean, the results under issues tab. Yes, you can definitely do that actually. So there is an option with Web API. So Klocwork supports REST API access. So using our REST API commands, you can definitely export the results, including the search query. If you want to export only the new issue, or if you want to export only the critical defects, right? Even you can filter it down, export it in JSON format. So when you have the report in JSON format, you can convert it into any other format, right? So yes, definitely you can export the results from Klocwork portal for sure.
Could you please give a quick demo example?